Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of API monetization.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff how companies actually make money from those behind the scenes software connections. The ones that power so much of what we do online.
Right, I feel like most people don't even think about
They
APIs.
just work their magic silently.
But there's a whole business side to it, and that's what we're going to be exploring today.
Exactly.
We're basing this deep dive on a presentation by Matt Tanner.
Head of Developer Relations over at Moesif.
And this was from APIDays Hong Kong 2023. I watched the whole thing, and it's really interesting. He's got some really great insights, so get ready for some aha moments.
I'm ready.
Okay, so Matt kicks off his presentation with a statement that I think a lot of people might find surprising.
Oh, yeah.
He says, and I quote, "Great API monetization is hard."
It's true, though, isn't it?
It is, but why, though? What makes it so tricky? I mean, you just put a price tag on it, right? It's not that simple. You got to think about it you and I, we use APIs every single day without even realizing it. But to make money from them, you have to find a balance.
Balance between
Value for the user and profitability for the company.
Okay, so it's like a balancing act. You can't just focus on one or the other.
Yeah. It's like a dance, almost.
Okay, I like that analogy. A
Yeah.
monetization dance.
All right, so to help navigate this dance, Matt highlights what he calls the 3 keys to success for API monetization.
Okay, let's hear them. Key number 1.
Your API has got to offer real value, tangible value, something users are actually willing to pay for.
Right, because I'm definitely not going to pay for something that doesn't solve a problem or, make my life easier.
Exactly.
Have you seen examples of APIs that, totally missed the mark on that?
Oh, all the time. There was this one, it claimed to provide real-time weather data.
Okay, that sounds pretty useful.
Yeah, but the thing is, it only offered data for major cities. And even then, the updates were delayed. So it wasn't really solving a problem for most people. So it didn't have that real tangible value that you were talking about.
Nope.
Did they try to monetize it?
They did, and it flopped. Think about a successful example, like Stripe's API.
Yeah.
They make online payments so easy. It's like a no-brainer for businesses. They're getting real value from that.
And they're willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
Okay, so real tangible value, key number 1. What's key number 2?
Speed and efficiency. You got to deliver that value quickly.
People don't have a lot of patience these days.
I know, I don't. Users expect everything to be seamless. Easy integration, clear pricing, instant benefits. If they encounter a bunch of roadblocks, they're going to bounce.
Oh my God, you will not believe this. I was trying to sign up for this one API a while back, and they made me fill out this 10-page form. It was ridiculous. I gave up before I even got to the pricing page.
Yeah, we've all been there. Clunky sign-up processes are the worst.
Good.
You got to make it smooth, intuitive, minimize that friction.
Yeah, like ordering food online. You expect that to be fast, simple, secure.
Exactly. Make the enrollment process just as smooth.
All right, speed and efficiency. Got it. Key number 3.
Think long-term.
Okay. Explain that one.
It's not just about the initial sale, right? You got to cultivate a sense of partnership with your users, build that loyalty, keep them coming back for more.
So it's like any relationship. You got to put in the work to make it last.
Exactly. Keep updating your API, adding new features, providing top-notch support. Make sure they're getting their money's worth.
Okay, so we've got the 3 keys to success: real value, speed and efficiency, and a long-term mindset. But how do we actually build a system to make all of this happen?
That's where Matt's monetization stack comes in.
The monetization stack.
He breaks the whole process down into 5 key components.
Okay, so it's like our recipe for success.
You could say that.
All right, I'm ready to cook up some monetization magic. What's ingredient number 1?
The API itself. Got to start with a solid foundation. A well-designed API that actually solves a real problem.
So it's like building a house. You need a strong foundation before you can start adding all the bells and whistles.
Precisely.
Okay, so a well-designed API, check. What's next?
The sign-up or enrollment process. Remember, minimize friction.
Ah, yes. That smooth onboarding experience we were talking about.
Keep it simple, straightforward, ask for only essential information, make the payment setup seamless, and get users to that aha moment as quickly as possible.
Let them experience that value right away. Okay, so the API itself, the sign-up process. What's component number 3?
Access control. This is all about making sure only authorized users can use your API.
So like a bouncer at a nightclub.
Kinda. Making sure everyone has the right credentials to get in. This is usually handled by API management tools, like software platforms designed to help you manage and secure your API.
Wait, so API management tools do more than just monetization?
Oh yeah, way more. They handle a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Security, authentication, traffic management, analytics.
I had no idea they were so versatile.
They're pretty powerful. But yeah, for access control, they help with things like API keys. Think of them like unique IDs for each user.
So you can track and control their access.
Exactly. And you can set rate limits to prevent abuse.
Keep things fair for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's access control. Component number 4.
Tallying usage.
This is where the money comes in, right? You need to track how much each user is using your API.
Absolutely. But it goes beyond just billing. You know,
Oh, really?
understanding how people are using your API can give you really valuable insights about their behavior, their preferences, all sorts of stuff.
So it's not just about charging them the right amount. It's about understanding how they're using your API and using that information to make it even better.
Exactly. Matt also emphasizes the need for flexibility in those billing metrics too. It's not always about charging per API call.
Oh.
You might want to charge based on data volume, the number of successful transactions, or some other metric that aligns with the value your API provides.
Okay, so flexibility is key. All right, we've got the API itself, sign up, access control, and usage tracking. What's the 5th and final component of this monetization stack?
The billing provider. This is the piece that handles all the financial transactions. Think companies like Stripe, ChargeBee, or Recurly.
So you don't have to build your own billing system from scratch.
Oh, thank goodness, no. These billing providers take care of everything. Generating invoices, processing payments, managing subscriptions, handling refunds, the whole 9 yards.
That sounds like a huge time saver. What should I look for when choosing a billing provider, though?
Matt emphasizes ease of use, good integration with your existing systems, and support for the pricing models you want to use. You also want to make sure they've got robust security in place because, you know, you're dealing with sensitive financial data.
Yeah, that makes sense. Security is paramount. All right, so we've covered all 5 components of Matt's monetization stack, but we still need to figure out how much to actually charge for our amazing API.
That's where things get really interesting, and that's where we'll pick up next time.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back with more API monetization goodness in part 2.
Welcome back. We left off talking about Matt Tanner's 5-component monetization stack.
Right, the recipe for API monetization success. So now we're ready to figure out the pricing. Like, how much do we actually charge for this amazing API we've built?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not always a simple answer. Matt highlights 2 big decisions you'll face: prepaid versus postpaid, and tiered versus per-call pricing.
Okay, break those down for me. What's the difference between prepaid and postpaid?
Prepaid is like buying a gift card for a coffee shop. You pay upfront for a certain amount of credit, and you can use that to buy your lattes. Postpaid is more like your monthly phone bill. You use the service first, and then you get billed at the end of the month based on how much you used.
So prepaid, I know exactly how much I'm spending up front. And postpaid, it depends on how much I use the API.
Exactly. Each approach has its advantages and disadvantages. Prepaid can be great for managing cash flow. You get the money up front, no risk of users overspending. But, you know, it can also be a bit of a barrier for new users. They might be hesitant to commit before they've even tried your API.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I'm always hesitant to buy a gift card for a new restaurant if I haven't tried the food yet. What about postpaid? What are the pros and cons there?
Postpaid can be seen as more user-friendly. It's lower friction to get started. Users only pay for what they use. But it does mean you have to handle invoicing and potentially chase down load payments.
So it's a trade-off between predictability and user experience.
Exactly. It really depends on your specific API and your target audience.
Do you have any examples of companies that use each approach successfully?
Oh, yeah. Twilio, the cloud communications platform, uses a prepaid model. You buy credits up front, and then you can use them for different services, like sending text messages.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then for postpaid, Amazon Web Services is a good example. They bill you at the end of the month for the resources you've used.
Right, so it seems like the best approach just depends on the specific API and who you're targeting. Okay, what about the second decision, tiered versus per-call pricing?
This one is all about how you structure your pricing plans. Tiered pricing offers different packages with varying levels of usage, features, or support. Kind of like choosing a data plan for your phone. A basic plan might give you 5 GB of data. A premium plan gives you unlimited data plus some extra perks.
Okay, and per-call pricing?
Per call is just that. You charge for each individual API call.
So tiered pricing is like buying in bulk, and per-call is like paying for each item individually.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. And again, each has its pros and cons. Tiered pricing can be great for encouraging users to upgrade to higher plans and unlock more value. It also provides a more predictable revenue stream for your business.
But it might not be suitable for all use cases, right? Like when would per call pricing make more sense?
Per call can be good if your API usage is highly variable. Some users might make a ton of calls, others might only make a few.
Right.
It can also be more appealing to smaller businesses or individual developers who might not need the high usage limits offered by tiered plans.
So if I'm building an API for a niche market with unpredictable usage patterns, per call might be a better fit.
Exactly. You got to understand your target audience and their needs. A music streaming service might use a per-song streaming model, while a weather API could charge per API call for detailed forecasts.
It's fascinating how much strategy goes into something like API pricing.
It really is. There's a lot to consider. You've got the technical side of tracking usage, the business considerations of pricing models and billing providers, and then you have to balance the needs of both your users and your business.
Matt wasn't kidding when he said great API monetization is hard.
Yeah, he's seen it all. But pricing is just one piece of the puzzle. Matt also talked about the role of API management.
API management. We talked about that before, right? The bouncer at the nightclub?
Right, but it's more than just access control. API management tools offer a whole range of capabilities that can help you create a better experience for your users and make your API more valuable, which ultimately helps with monetization.
Okay, so what are some of the key features of API management that go beyond just monetization?
Well, one of the most important is security. You need to protect your API from attacks and make sure that only authorized users can access it. API management tools provide features like authentication, authorization, and rate limiting to help you secure your API and protect your data.
That's crucial, especially if you're dealing with sensitive user information. What else?
Productization is another big one. Making your API easy to discover, understand, and use.
Yeah.
This might involve creating a developer portal with clear documentation, code samples, interactive tutorials. Make it easy for developers to find and use your API.
So it's not enough to just build a great API. You also have to package it up nicely and present it to the world in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly. A well-designed developer portal can make all the difference. Matt also talked about data governance, making sure you're handling sensitive data responsibly and complying with regulations. That's becoming more and more important these days.
Definitely. So API management tools are like a Swiss Army knife for API providers.
I like that. They can help you with everything from security and productization to data governance and, of course, monetization.
And this is where a company like Moesif comes in. They offer a platform specifically designed to streamline API monetization.
Right. They specialize in usage tracking and billing, so they can help you accurately measure how people are using your API and generate detailed billing data.
So it's like having an automated accountant who never sleeps.
Exactly. They handle all the complex technical stuff behind the scenes so you can focus on what you do best, building amazing APIs.
That's a huge relief for API providers,
Yeah.
I bet. Okay, so we've talked about pricing strategies and the broader role of API management. What other insights did Matt share about API monetization?
Well, he really emphasized that your pricing strategy should align with your overall business goals. Are you trying to maximize revenue, attract new users, or drive usage of specific features? Your pricing model should reflect those priorities.
So it's not just about picking the best pricing model in isolation. It has to fit into the bigger picture of your business strategy.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where everyone wins. Your users get access to a valuable API at a fair price, and your business generates sustainable revenue.
Okay, so we've tackled prepaid versus postpaid and tiered versus per call. What's next?
Next time, we'll be wrapping up our deep dive into API monetization with some final thoughts and key takeaways.
All right, welcome back. Final part of our deep dive into this fascinating world of API monetization.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. The 3 keys to success, the 5 components of that monetization stack.
The pricing strategies, prepaid versus postpaid, tiered versus per call. It's a lot.
It is. A lot to think about.
And I'm sure some of you listening are like, why should I even care about all this? Like, I'm not a developer. I don't run a business that sells APIs.
It's a valid question.
Yeah.
But APIs are kind of everywhere. Even if you don't see them, they're working behind the scenes.
Right. Like, think about it. You can book a flight on your phone, order groceries online, stream music.
All powered by APIs.
Yeah.
And this whole monetization thing, that's what keeps those services running.
Yeah. It allows companies to invest in building and maintaining these things that, honestly, we kind of take for granted.
It's like the engine of the digital economy, in a way.
So even if we don't see it directly, API monetization is having a huge impact on our lives.
Absolutely. It's shaping the way we live and work and play in the digital world.
Like understanding how the internet works. You don't need to be a computer scientist to appreciate how much it affects your life.
Right. And hey, maybe this deep dive has sparked some curiosity. Maybe you'll want to explore the world of APIs a bit more.
It's a whole universe out there. All right, gotta ask what surprised you most about this whole thing. For me, it was just how much strategy is involved in API monetization. I thought it was just like, slap a price tag on it and you're good.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more to it than that. You got to understand your users, your business goals, the competitive landscape. It's almost like a separate business skill.
Totally. You gotta be a business strategist, a marketer, a security expert, and a developer all rolled into one.
It's a lot of hats to wear. But it's cool to see how companies are figuring it out.
All right, before we wrap up, any key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the biggest one is real value. If your API doesn't actually solve a problem or make someone's life easier, no amount of fancy monetization tricks are going to help.
Value is king. What else?
Think long term. API monetization is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to constantly invest, innovate, and go above and beyond to keep your users happy.
And don't forget to find the right tools and partners to help you on that journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Companies like Moesif can make your life a lot easier, and there's tons of resources online to help you learn more about APIs, pricing strategies, and all that good stuff.
So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired, get out there and explore.
That's what we're all about.
That brings us to the end of our API monetization deep dive. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive adventure.